you for your willingness to score our MNU candidates' work samples. This capstone assessment marks the end of their transition from students of teaching to teachers of students. We have established a high level of expectations for graduation and certification in the field of education. This is one of 3 criteria that candidates complete prior to graduating and receiving a state teaching certificate. These 3 requirements, the seminar course grade, the cooperating teacher evaluation, and the TWS, require a score of 80% or higher. Graphic provides a general overview of the teacher work sample process, but as you look at this process holistically, you will see that the process is what effective educators engage in daily. MNU is training our candidates to develop student-centered classrooms. The first section of the TWS includes the contextual analysis. This section looks at a range of issues that impact student learning. This section begins with looking at the student learning environment. Candidates investigate the community in which a school is situated. What are the demographics, resources available, community values, special programs? Then the candidate performs a similar investigation of issues that impact student learning at the district, school, and finally the classroom level. Within the classroom, the candidate investigates not only the resources available and the demographics, but looks specifically into student interests, learning needs, styles, prior learning opportunities, applicable assessment scores, and again, anything within the classroom culture that impacts student learning. Finally, the candidate is to identify and describe a small group of learners. These learners usually display a sharp learning difference between students. They are encouraged to identify an above, an on grade level, and a below grade level set of learners. They will follow this group of students throughout the instruction process and use them as a gauge to reflect on their teaching. It is from this primary focus on ensuring success for all learners that the unit is constructed. The grader will need to note what candidates have identified and look for these characteristics that shaped the decision-making from unit design to concluding reflections. For instance, the candidates identify students that are English language learners, the grader would expect to see accommodations to instruction and assessments to help this student be successful. The student then begins the process of understanding by design. They investigate the standards and establish measurable learning goals in Section 2. They write an assessment plan in Section 3. This plan should incorporate a variety of formative, performance, and summative assessments. They determine how they will teach the students in Section 4 by addressing the characteristics identified in the contextual analysis. Section 5 provides reflection on the effectiveness of unit delivery. How did they modify the lesson? Did assessments or classroom observations motivate them to alter instruction? Did they exhibit flexibility and a drive to ensure success for all learners? Section 6 displays the data gathered throughout the unit. The candidate should provide evidence for impact on student learning in regards to each of the learning goals they previously established. And finally, Section 7 provides an opportunity for concluding reflections as to their instructional practice, the TWS process, and their future professional development. The TWS is assessed by you, trained evaluators, that will review 2 to 3 candidate submissions for quality, alignment to our program standards and rubric, and for the overall impact the candidate had on student success. Calibrating multiple graders helps to standardize assessment of student submissions. The practice minimizes variation, interpretations of students' work across graders, and ensures authenticity of scores. As you prepare to participate in the grading session, please review the TWS rubric and handbook. Exemplars are posted under the Evaluators section online, and a link of these resources will be provided in an accompanying email. Also posted is a practice scoring sample. Once you have scored this selection, review the scores assigned by experienced raters. Reflect on any discrepancy and review the rubric once again. If you have questions, If you have questions about the scoring process, please ask either before or during the designated scoring session. Each TWS is scored separately by 2 trained scorers, and the student receives the average of the 2 scores. If there is a discrepancy of 10 points or more between the scores, the TWS is graded by a 3rd grader. The outlying score is then dropped. If the TWS score is below 80%, candidates receive individualized instruction to assist in the rewriting of his or her TWS. The rewritten TWS will then be graded by another trained scorer. The following is an overview of issues that could impact scoring and result in an inauthentic score. Take some time to consider your responses to the following questions. Investigate whether your perspectives match with the rubric. The following are examples of issues that could falsely lower or raise scores. Take some time to review these. Which one sounds the most like you? Make sure to also provide feedback when scores are above or below a 3 on the rubric.